How does a dog fart, and why do some dog farts linger like a bad decision? In veterinary terms, flatus is the gas that's expelled through the dog's anus, while flatulence refers to excessive gas formation in the dog's stomach or intestines. It can often be accompanied by borborygmus, which is the rumbling noise of gas moving through the gut. Most of that gas, which is nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hydrogen and methane, is odourless. The true offenders are trace sulfur compounds such as hydrogen sulfide, methanethiol and dimethyl sulfide produced in the large intestine when bacteria are breaking down sulfur-rich proteins and other substrates. So where does this farty gas all come from? Well, in dogs, typically 4 main sources. Firstly, dogs will often swallow lots of air when they're eating, especially if they're gulping down their food, or when they're panting, or when they're drinking. Also, chemical reactions occur in the stomach, for example, when acid mixes with alkaline saliva or food. And then thirdly, there's diffusion from the bloodstream. Carbon dioxide will move from the bloodstream into the gut, where it joins the mix before being released. And then we've got microbial fermentation in the colon. Short-nosed dogs like pugs or bulldogs are especially prone to aerophagia, so that's swallowing in air through heavy panting after exercise or even excitement, so that can increase the fartiness. Once in the gut, the gas travels super fast. It will be introduced to the stomach and then can come out the other end in farts within 15 to 35 minutes. Lifestyle also plays a role in the dog's fartiness. In a survey of 110 dogs, flatulence was more common in less active, mostly indoor dogs than those that were exercise regularly. Also, age, obesity and certain medical conditions can also slow the gut transit, giving bacteria more time to ferment food residues. Then there are disorders such as inflammatory bowel disease, exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, as well as dietary intolerances which can increase gas production. Believe it or not, scientists have even measured dogs' farts. Collins et al. In 2001 measured using a perforated tube and monitoring pump to collect gas at the butt. They measured hydrogen sulfide every 20 seconds. Some of the 8 dogs that were involved in the study produced a little, others produced a lot, and levels that were above 1 part per million were always detectable to the human nose. So what that told us is the stronger the concentration, the stronger the stink. It goes without saying that diet plays an important role. Some of the biggest drivers of canine flatulence can be ingredients that are high in fermentable carbohydrates, things like soy or peas or lentils, and certain fibres that give bacteria more to work on. Poorly digestible proteins like beet pulp or wheat bran and some fruits can also contribute too. Trials also show that by replacing soybean meals with poultry meal can reduce both the volume and the odour of gas. And then there's highly digestible, lower protein diets that may limit the residue in the hindgut, reducing sulfur-producing bacteria. And there's also supplements such as yucca shigedera extract, activated charcoal and zinc acetate, which have been shown to lower the frequency and smell of farts. In that same study, about 1/3 of the owners with flatulent dogs found their scent to be objectionable, and they said they would change their dog's diet to reduce the fartiness, whereas others were unbothered, and this suggests there is a tolerance for canine emissions and it varies widely from owner to owner. So when should we consider a dog's farts to be problematic? Well, the occasional emission is all part of normal canine digestion, and persistent but excessive or particularly foul-smelling gas, especially if accompanied by diarrhea, belching, vomiting, weight loss, changes in appetite or lots of stretches, could indicate that a veterinary check is warranted because there could be a more serious gastrointestinal issue. If your dog's farts aren't excessive, you're not seeing any changes in behaviour or their appetite, etc., then put it down to simply the soundtrack of living with a dog. Their digestion is just talking, and just like some people have a way of making themselves heard, it's the same for our dog's farts.